First and foremost, congratulations to the Green Bay Packers. You guys messed around and got yourselves a W on the road in Pittsburgh for the first time since what, 1970? What do you know? Records are made. Tradition is established, but not with Mike Tomlin's team. We happen to break all of that. Congratulations to the Green Bay Packers. You continue to sit atop the NFC, the only team in that conference with one loss. I can't say the same for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as that was the case a couple of weeks ago, but not anymore. Back-to-back losses in prime time in front of America. We get embarrassed on defense. Aaron Rodgers had an opportunity to join Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre as the only quarterbacks to ever defeat all 32 teams. But oh no, against his former nemesis, or I should say his former squad. I don't know why I said nemesis. The Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, the pupil, the student, took down the teacher, took down the master, and walked away with a W. But guess what? I can't say anything negative about the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Of course, we didn't convert on multiple different third downs. We continue to struggle with trying to go and move the football. We're incredibly undisciplined with DK Metcalf putting fingers inside of people's helmets. Despite the fact that somebody may have messed around and spit on you, you've got to recognize you're trailing by 10. Why would you put yourself in a situation in which you mess around and retaliate? We got to be a smarter football team than that. But our defense is a $200 million defense. Highest paid defense in the league, and yet again, we cannot get a stop. Okay, let me take off my blazer so I don't get too doggone hot here and sweat. Let me explain something to you. Back-to-back weeks, we've given up over 450 yards of total offense. Do you recognize how ass we happen to be? Furthermore, did we sack the quarterback today? Methinks not. How many times did we touch Jordan Love? This man may have been dirty from the benches on the sideline, because it sure as hell wasn't from quarterback hits. Man's barely got touched today. Truly, I don't know if he got touched in the second half. We're supposed to be Blitzburg. We brought no pressure whatsoever. Jordan Love's mother could have been in the pocket braiding his hair like he was Allen Iverson, and I promise you, she would have had no fear, because our pass rush, non-existent. First half, the run defense only held Josh Jacobs and also Wilson over to what, 19 yards in the first half? What happened in the second? They ended the game with 94 yards. You don't need to run for well over 100 yards like Cincinnati did last week, but all you need is positive yardage to go and move the chains, and that's exactly what they did. Jordan Love threw for over 360 yards on our defense. Furthermore, Tucker Kraft Mac and Cheese, happy National Tight Ends Day. He celebrated all day on our defense. 7 catches, 143 yards, 2 TDs. He was uncoverable, and guess what? Third down, we continue to give up splash play after splash play after splash play. Last week, I said the same thing. You want to know what the problem is? It's not, oh, well, it's only one loss. It's not that big of a deal. It's a loss that looks the exact same way game after game, season after season. There probably is no other team with a winning record in the last 10 years that has given up more conversions on third down and more splash plays of over 20 yards than the Pittsburgh Steelers. You take a look at along that list. I don't know the statistics, but I can promise you, maybe the Titans are on there. Maybe the Raiders are on there. Maybe the Giants or the Jets are on there. Teams that have been bottom feeders for the bulk share of a decade, right? You can have isolated seasons here and there, but guess what? Those teams continue to be picking high in the draft and constantly eliminated from playoff contention while we enter into the month of December. But not the Pittsburgh Steelers. You want to know why? Because we're good enough to not be bad, but we're bad enough to not be great. Because every single year we do the exact same shit. Give up gasher plays left and right. Third down, when we need to get a stop, we can't get it. Our defense, if it didn't take takeaways and sacks, I promise you, we would struggle to win 4 games a year. And guess what? The last couple of weeks, did we take the football away? We have not. It's been 3 weeks since that happened. The month of September was the last time we got ourselves a takeaway. Or maybe the first week of October. One way or another, I haven't seen a takeaway at all. If we were parents with disobedient children, the children can get away with everything because we don't know how to take anything away. Game Boys are being played until 1 a.m. in our house while we have children that happen to be toddlers, children that happen to go to grade school, because we don't know discipline. We don't know how to take anything away whatsoever. It's third down and long. Would you like a completion? You're gonna get it. It's second and manageable. We need to make a tackle. We don't know how to wrap up whatsoever, because the defense looks absolutely ridiculous. Everybody says fire Terrell Austin. And guess what? I support what they state, because he needs to go. Ever since Dick LeBeau left the sidelines, we have not looked like a Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And again, what is our identity? We don't have one. Since the Killer Bees had disbanded, you knew in the 2010s we was going to put up 30. You just needed the defense to go out there and get stops. Post the elbow injury from Roethlisberger coming back in 2020, what was it? The defense is going to be able to make up splash play in a moment where you know you need a stop. They're going to show up. That ain't the case for the 2025 Steelers. It wasn't the case for the 2024 Steelers. And what is it this year? We're getting beat on both sides of the ball. Because when it comes down to it, in crunch time, because football 60 minutes, you watching the first half, Chris Boswell, because think about it, all we really need is to make it to the 40-yard line, and it's a guarantee we're going to get 3 points. A guarantee. All you need is the defense to get a stop, and we can't get it. We're juiced up, leading by 10. Or I should say double digits. The Packers get a score. We go down the field, we get a field goal. We're leading now at this point by 5. It's 19 to what? 14. All we need is the defense to make a stop. What happens on third down? Gash your play. Gash your play. Let's throw the football right over the head of Thornhill. Instead of running to where the football's going, let me stop and test my vertical leap. We're stupid on defense. You look like Raheem Moore in the Baltimore Ravens versus the Broncos playoff game in the divisional round on Ray Lewis's farewell tour. You don't know how to judge a football, and you allow the ball to go right over your hand. But guess what? It wouldn't even matter if you made a play on the ball, because Joey Porter continues to pick up penalties. Every time you see 24, guess what? Flag on the play. I can guarantee you right now, you go to the Pittsburgh Steelers Pro Shop, go grab a 24 jersey. There's going to be a flag that's thrown upon purchase, because he can't make plays without holding or pass interference. I'm wearing a TJ Watt jersey right now. I got a question. When was the last time TJ Watt made a play? When? At this point, it feels like last season. Myles Garrett got 5 sacks today. He's supposed to be your direct competition. What did you do? Nothing. Jalen Ramsey, you gonna make a play? Not at all. September was the time to go and make plays. Darius Slay, my leg. Every single game, you're in pain. We're the oldest defense in the NFL, and it shows. Every single one of our captains have grays on their faces, got grays in their hairs. We're senior citizens on defense, and we're moving just like it. Young guys ain't making plays. Old guys not making impact whatsoever. And every single week, it's the same thing. Because when you watch the Steelers go out onto the field, do you feel confidence in this team that they're going to win games? I don't, and I'm 100% sure that you don't either. Because what's the purpose of this season? Albeit, it's week by week, right? You're not going to win every game. You can't expect to win every game. You can prepare to win every game, but you can't expect to win every game, because since the modern era of football, what's been the case? There's only been 2 perfect regular seasons. Only one in the 92 Dolphins gone on to win the Super Bowl with a perfect record. The Patriots ultimately failed in Super Bowl 42 against the Giants. But guess what, right? In the midst of all of that preparation, how is it that we as fans who truly watch the game can almost expect to see the same thing and it happens? The Packers are a very capable football team. But we all foresaw what was going to transpire. You can tell the momentum was never going to build for Pittsburgh. And what did the Packers do? Took advantage. Tucker Kraft was taking advantage of the defense. You know it's tight end's day. You know they're going to throw the ball to a tight end. Somehow, we still can't seem to cover a soul. And like I said prior, what's the expectation of this football team? Aaron Rodgers is playing in what's going to be his final season of his NFL career. You have a $200 million defense, the most expensive defense in the NFL. You think this team is constructed to try to win a playoff game, win the division? The goal is Super Bowl or bust. Kansas City has reigned over this conference with an iron fist. They've gone to the Super Bowl 5 of the last 6 years. The last 3 years, they've been crowned atop the AFC. If this team is just like all of the other teams at the top of the AFC, the goal is to be able to dethrone Kansas City and represent the conference in the Super Bowl. This is not only not winning football, it's not nowhere near contention for Super Bowl winning football. We won't win a wild card playoff game with this brand of football. The goal this year isn't just winning season as it is every single year. Because guess what? Mike Tomlin, you're no different than Jeff Fisher. You won your championship early, unlike Jeff Fisher did. He lost in Super Bowl 34. But you happen to get that W in Super Bowl 43. But what have you done for us lately? No playoff wins since 2016. Forget the postseason. We're in week 8. Every single year it's the same thing. Either start strong and finish weak. Start weak and finish strong. Underplay against teams and constantly underperform under the lights. Every time the lights turn on in prime time, it's too bright, I can't see. We're a disappointing franchise. And in the past, we had an identity. And you know what our identity is now? Mediocrity. Every single week, you can bank on watching the Pittsburgh Steelers go out onto the field and be absolutely mediocre. Week after week. And it's incredibly disappointing. There's teams that have been ass for years. And guess what? Fan base goes into those games knowing they don't got it. But you know what the Steelers do? They try to give you hope. They try to get you hype. And then you go into the games and what happens? You fail when it matters most. Because guess what? Like I said before, we're good enough to not be bad, but we're bad enough to not be great. And we've got the best team in the NFL coming onto our stadium next week because the Indianapolis Colts, with the MVP favorite currently right now, and Jonathan Taylor are coming to town. And let me tell you something right now. The defense back-to-back weeks giving up over 450 yards to each of the past opponents. And here come the Colts with the third highest scoring team in their franchise's history. Oh, if they embarrass us like most people would expect them to do, well, what's going to happen? Is a change going to transpire? We all who've been watching Pittsburgh for an incredibly long time can pretty much come to a conclusion. Oh, no. We're just going to try to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps and then rally late to be able to qualify for a postseason berth. And then we're going to have the same outcome that we've had for the last 10 years. Mediocrity. So until this team turns this shit around, we could all expect the exact same scenario. Big time games where guys got to come out and perform and make stops. Guess what? We're not going to get. So like I said, coming into the season, I don't have much expectation for this team because I know exactly what's going to transpire. They're going to end up in a situation where they try to give you hope. You end up in a spot in which you kind of get hype and you sit there and say, oh, you know what? We're in a good spot right now. We just win this game, this game, this game. But that's where you get fucked up and caught in the genjutsu. The illusion got you absolutely duped and fooled. Because the moment you start to look at the schedule and say, well, if we win this game, this game, this game, guess what? Those games where you say, if we win this game, this game, this game, those are all going to be lost. because we're a guarantee to underperform in games that we should win. And then in the games that we shouldn't win, oh, yeah, we make it competitive and maybe we'll get a 50-50 game. But remember, when it matters most, we come up. So guess what? That's 2 losses in a row. And we got Indy next week. So hopefully there's an element of shame across the locker room and anger to where somebody might want to go and do something about it. Because I'll tell you something right now, with the most expensive defense in the NFL, somebody on defense got to make a play. And this week, Jordan Love's jersey incredibly clean. Not a single sack, not a single takeaway in 3 consecutive games. So I can't really say anything bad about the offense again, albeit we need to see way better production from our wide receivers. Outside of DK Metcalf, we really don't have anybody who's a threat for all intents and purposes. Offensive line was doing decent for the most part on this game, but remember, you have the most expensive defense in the NFL. We should be able to put up 19 points on offense and at least feel comfortable knowing that the most expensive defense in the NFL would be able to get a stop, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Until the defense steps up, this is going to be the same old story that we've seen every single year. And ultimately, Rodgers is going to go, finish this season, sign a one-day contract with Green Bay, retire, and guess what? We're going to be in the same spot next year trying to figure out, well, who's our quarterback? Well, we did draft Will Howard. We'll see if this guy's going to be the guy, and we're going to be no different. Because the whole entity, or I should say the purpose, the goal of this franchise is to finally hoist up that Lombardi number 7. And guess what? The way the team is playing right now, this ain't the squad that's gonna do it. Y'all got to get it together. And I'm sure all Steeler fans stand with me by saying this performance is why we constantly say it's time for a changing of the guard. We need a new coach at the helm. We have to consider going in a different direction as it pertains to Mike Tomlin, because it's the same shit every single year. We're due for a 2-3 game losing streak every year, and the manner in how we lose is the exact same. So, Steelers on 3, what the fuck on 6? Steelers on 3, 1, 2, 3, Steelers, 4, 5, 6, what the fuck? Huh? Am I surprised? Not at all. Am I disappointed? Absolutely. Here we go, Steelers, huh? Here we go, Steelers. Get embarrassed at our home field again. Why play Renegade if it ain't gonna do shit? Hey, I appreciate you watching the entire video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button on the way out if you haven't already. And on top of that, hit that notification bell as well. For whatever reason, YouTube's only showing my videos to 20% of my subscribers. So if you have already turned on the notification bell, turn it off, turn it back on. If you never turn it on, turn it on. I appreciate you.